Alright, so we are back with episode 2 of 10 Star by Alan Can't comma properly. Shots fired. I'm just gonna. I'm doing this for purposes. I don't even need those on, honestly. I'm wearing them, but I don't use them as my mic anymore. I've got my desktop one, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just gonna go like this real quick to show how freaking long my hair is right now. It's gonna get longer because I'm gonna donate it, but might as well not even bother doing that. So, there's a guy with facial hair. He's got a calf over by like a little pond, and then there's a guy who's clearly in charge of those calves having an issue. Let's say good afternoon. Oh yeah, because it literally describes it twice, and I was like, I'm gonna go down and get close, and now it's got the exact same freaking option. The cowboy absently tips the wide brim of his hat, but never takes his eyes off the rocks behind which the prospector is hidden. How do there, sir? I'm sorry to say there's a bit of dander here, but I'll sort it out soon enough. The hell you will, the prospector calls from behind the rock. I'll plug you and your heifers if you try anything. The cowboy looks to you. Stranger, I don't want to shoot anyone I don't have to. Will you arbitrate? Neither man has moved, and neither seems willing to do so. It is as if they could stay here all day and wait for something to shift. Take a look around, hear out the cowboy first, hear out the prospector first, render a decision. Let's hear out the cowboy. The cowboy pushes his hat back and regards you with a squint of blue eyes. I'm Ben Carson, and I work the Big Bell Ranch just south of Albion Falls. I knew it. You're one of them desert folks, the prospector calls out tauntingly from behind the rock. I'm a brother of the Latter-day Saints, if that's what you mean. The cowboy shrugs off the insult like a duck in the rain. Anyway, we were driving ahead of cattle west when a storm blew us, scattered us some. When a storm blew up, scattered us some. I'm stupid. I'd been gathering strays, brought them back down here for a drink. Next thing I know, I hear a gunshot, and one of the calves flops. I, I look over, and there's that man with his pistol still a-smoking. Your little herd must have been very thirsty. Did you see him shoot? When did you get to the water? Did you look in the watering hole first? So your heifers must have come in pretty eager. Thanks, that's all I needed to know from you while I hear the defendant out. I'll hear the defendant out. Up close, the prospector is a stiff bit of sun-withered rawhide. A tease of white hair salts him up in years that almost make him bristle of a beard and mustache seem dignified. I'm just rereading that because it sounds dumb as fuck in my head. Both sleeves of a pale brown calico shirt have been rolled up, and there are more than a few patches on his trousers where work had worn through. You want to hear what really happened? The prospector asks. Well, let old Dan Schmidt tell you the truth. Old? You look that old, Dan. You're Dan Schmidt. My father used to talk about you back in California. Yep, I'm here to miss Mr. Schmidt. Good then, because I've been around these parts a while, I know plenty you don't. See, because there's folks that came to California around 49, but I'd already been trapping and prospecting my way through Ruby Mountains here for years. Now everything's changed. Lots of people, all in a damn hurry, including that Mormon fellow. That wounded calf, tell me about it. Carson said he brought a straggler herd for watering. Carson tells me he shot when his calf was standing over when he rolled up. That wounded calf too much. The whole herd was bearing down on me. I tried to turn them from trampling my gear. Didn't work. They was just too thirsty. Why didn't you fire in the air? Why not shoot one of the big heifers just one shot? Why didn't you fire in the air? I've gone against... Oh, okay. It just grayed that out because I already asked that. I've gone against grizzlies, wolves, and even a damn mountain lion once. Best way to scare them off is to plug them dead center so they stay scared or make dead. And let me tell you, those steers were just too damn stupid to take the first hint. Carson said he brought a straggler here for water. Carson tells me he shot his calf was standing over when he rode up. It were the only way to turn the herd from trampling my screens. Didn't work, though. They were just too thirsty or stupid. Carson said he brought a little straggling herd in for watering. That he did, blah, blah, blah. Sam Thunder and the other were too late. Alright, so... let's take a look around. A dead calf, a muddy watering hole, and trampled pans and screens. Schmidt must have been panning for gold when all of a sudden a herd of thirsty cattle came crashing down on him. He pulled his pistol, rightly or wrongly, shot one of Carson's calves to try to turn the herd aside. Carson didn't do anything criminal, though, because it was just bringing his cattle in to drink. Schmidt slouches behind the big rock by the watering hole as if he's got all day that he's gotten his story out of the way. Carson waits patiently, his hands folded before him. Render a decision. You present yourself before the two men and indicate you are ready to render a decision. Carson notes the gleam in your tin star plucked to your coat and settles back confidently. Schmidt follows the cowboy's eyes and gives a little sigh when his a light upon your badge. Bleh. So Schmidt is the gold panner, and he doesn't like this situation because it honestly just looks like he shot some dude's cow. I'm going to say neither of you are at fault. Both men stare blankly at you. Schmidt fired in self-defense, and Carson can't be blamed for what his cattle did. The animals were thirsty. They'd have gone to water no matter what anyone wanted. This sort of thing just happened. You've got to let it go. Yeah, that's the first one. But the calf is dead, Carson protests, and it ain't even mine. And my pans and panes are all torn up, Schmidt all but yowls. Law and order slightly decreased. Fuck you. I got a good steak, and now I've got a tin up again. Now then, I'm going to waive my usual fee for arbitration. Now then, I'm due compensation for this arbitration. Gentlemen, I am, of course, going to have to charge you, both of you, for all this. I'm going to waive my fee of arbitration. Arner increased. A silver lining at last, Carson notes wryly. More like copper or iron, Schmidt replies. Carson looks over at Schmidt and ruminates a moment. I do feel like I've done you wrong with them pans. Darn right you do, Schmidt answers in a grumble. Things are settled, but your journey continues. Head alone, invite Carson to ride with me from Preston Springs. For Preston Springs, invite Schmidt to ride with me to Preston Springs. Invite both men to ride with me. I'm going to head alone. Fuck you guys. You ride away with a watering hole atop your steed. You ride away from... Why did I don't read these words right, people. The brown bay seems almost eager to finish this journey. The pack mule that trails behind could well take or leave the whole endeavor. And so you ride for days with just your horse and your pack mule for company. It is a tiring, monotonous journey, but thankfully, come one morning, you see civilization in the distance, a cluster of sharp edges where everything had been curved and round. 24 low buildings lie in a valley between mountains. Preston Springs at last. Which is the end of Chapter 1. I'm still 100% anonymous. My honor has increased. My order has decreased. My freedom has increased. Actually, if it's between law and individuality and freedom and order, because it's not just like my lawness is decreasing, my individuality is increasing as well. So I'm for less establishment if it means that people don't fuck each other over as much, which I am for. So my persuasion is higher. Apparently Carson likes me a little bit more. Schmidt does not. I did the right thing. Fuck off. End of Chapter 1. Would you like to save your ending to Chapter 1? Continue to Chapter 2. No, let's just continue to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 begins. Next chapter. For a boom town, Preston Springs has got an awful lot of pane glass and painted signs. No less than 3 saloons, an inn, general store, blacksmith, and plenty more can be seen. If the railroad comes through here, this little burg is gonna be big. Nothing to do but head on over and see what is what. Preston Springs is a dusty little burg with 24 stout timber buildings scattered among the main street. A handful of other frames wait to be filled out at one end, while wagons and stagecoaches rest in the shade of broad alleyways. 4 fronts in particular loom above the others. Red bunting of a nearby saloon frames the words, "The Mother Lode," while a bit of silver paint just down the way gleams bright in the sun of another called the Evening Star. A pair of gold-painted lanterns adorn the luxurious interior of another saloon whose sign reads Babylon. Amidst those 3 saloons resides the crisp curtain windows of a hotel that could belong in San Francisco or even Chicago. The sign above the entrance, meticulously painted in elegant sweeps of cursive script, reads Grand Haven Hotel. A general store, smithy, stables, and a gold exchange round things out. Plenty of other wood-board buildings don't have signs at all and look a lot more like residences. There are not a lot of people on the streets during a midday heat, but a rough shirted prospector staggers across with a bucket of beer balanced precariously in hand and a ladle in the other, an empty pouch looped around his neck. His hat is pleasantly askew above a sharp widow's peak as the former shades his sun creased features. Without being prompted, he mumbles a little loudly about how his drunken feet are trying to do him in. Approach the drunk prospector and ask about the town. Try and find my marshal's office. Wander into nearby saloon, the Motherlode. Let's try to find my marshal's office. Just a ways down the main street, tucked in beside the gleaming glass of the Babylon saloon, lies a little one-story shack. Half the front is missing, and most of the roof has vanished as well. But on a post out front are the faded words U.S. Marshal and the outline of a silver star. Your office. The inside is strewn with broken glass, torn cloth, and an errant tumbleweed that has taken root in the single cell to the rear. There should be doors, but those have long since walked off. No doubt about it. The past few marshals haven't fared too well at all. Clean up the glass, get that tumbleweed out of here first, take measurements for planks and roofing. Let's see, what is the glass? Inside is broken glass. I'm going to sweep up the glass, get out that tumbleweed, and then let's clean up the glass. Cleaning up the glass without a pan and broom proves more than a little difficult, but you make do with boot and a cloth. Whatever. Sure, just kick the glass out the door. Fucking dumbass. The office is just starting to get tidied when a sudden skittering arrives from beneath a pile of discarded tins. Something small, furry, and brown darts across the floor and takes refuge beneath your chipwood desk. Willow, stop with the corn popper, please. We need to confiscate that between, like, the hours of morning and night.
What?
Exactly. No, it's just loud as fuck. It's so loud. And takes refuge beneath your chipped wood desk. A moment later, the whiskers and pink nose of a mouse peek out from about the leg. A mouse in your house. Shoo the mouse out the door. Shoot it. Watch the mouse for a while. Capture the critter, then dump it at the edge of town. Just let it be for a while. We'll let the mouse be. You get on with your cleaning up. All the while, the mouse cleans its whiskers and watches you with its inquisitive eyes. Just ignore it for now. Adopt the little fellow as a pet. Time to find a stray cat. We'll just adopt him as a pet, sure. Of course, there are dozens of mice all around. Telling them apart is going to be a trick. This mouse has a clipped tail that gives it a distinctive gait. This mouse is more gray than brown. It's clearly not native to the desert. This mouse is chubby. It clearly is more curious and clever than the rest. The mouse tilts its head slightly whenever he looks at something. We'll go with that. He's inquisitive. The mouse needs a name, even if it never notices when you call it. Certainly, you'll have to name the mouse something, even if only for your own peace of mind. We're going to name this mouse Nicole. Never mind. I was going to ask her a name for the mouse, but she just said she called What, so the mouse's name is What. You set up a box for What, who immediately tries to scramble out, the ungrateful wretch. Gratitude spurned, you set to work on the office. But just as the cobwebs begin to clear, a long shadow falls across the boardwalk just outside. There, a lean rake of a man slouches against the setting sun, with his hat pulled low and a hand on the revolver high up on his waistband. A gunfighter, and he's aimed himself directly at your office. "Marshal!" he calls out in an impetuous tone. "I'm Jack, Tumbleweed Jack, and I'm here to avenge my brother. Come on out here." Go out and meet this fool. Stay inside. That idiot can hear me fine from in here. Slip out the back and circle around behind the man. Head on out the back, get away for a while, whatever Tumbleweed wants. I don't. I'm going to stay inside and yell out, because walking out there and getting shot is not something I'm interested in. I don't need to be a hero. Not yet. I am a hero, either way. Shut up. You peek out into the dying day. The sun sits molten down on the street as it turns the town into a long streak of shadow. Tumbleweed Jack stands shrouded like all the rest. I wanted a name for the mouse. I was going to ask, like, I called your name and you said What, and I was going to like, what's a good name for a mouse? And then I was like, well, you already said the word What, so I named my mouse What.
Oh boy. What the fuck is that?
His initials are WTF. His features nearly eclipsed. I'm waiting to settle accounts for my brother. You ready? He asked with a cool determination. Your brother? I only shoot those that have it coming. Say nothing. Wait. Open fire. Your brother? Question mark. Yeah, my brother. Tumbleweed Jack calls out to you. You might have never known him, but that don't really matter much to me. What's this about your brother? I don't think I'm the one you're looking for. Why do they call you Tumbleweed Jack? What brings you out here? What's your play here? All right, then I'm ready to throw down with you. Well, at least this time it'll be legal. What's this about your brother? I didn't kill your fucking brother. My brother Brian, he were here in Kansas when the marshals came for him. They done strung him up, the four of them, and I'm fixing to put each of them in their grave. I wasn't one of them. I've never been to Kansas. I've been a marshal barely a month. What did your brother do? I wasn't one of them. Don't matter to me. You wear a star. You can share their guilt, Tumbleweed explains calmly. I don't think I'm the one you're looking for. Why do they call you Tumbleweed Jack? What brings you out here? I don't think I'm the one you're looking for, motherfucker. Of course you aren't. I know that. But until I get back to Kansas and track them down, I'll take what justice I can scrounge. Justice? How would killing me be justice? I get you. Don't agree, but I get you. No, fuck you. Someone's gotta pay. Tumbleweed shrugs. Why do they call you Tumbleweed Jack? What brings you out here? What's your play? All right, then I'm ready to go down with you. Well, these times it'll be legal. What's your play here? I'm gonna shoot y'all unless you scoot, Tumbleweed explained simply. Yes, but why here? This county didn't have a marshal for months. Why would you wait around here? You're hiding something. Let's yell I'm hiding. He's hiding something. Aren't we all? I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch. That's the kind of ultimatum that clears things up nicely. The gunfighter's pistol is high up on his belt, making it easy for him to pull it free and get to work. Thankfully, you've got more than a bit of cover between you and Tumbleweed. You'll have a good chance at walking away from this unscathed, but with the setting sun behind him, it'll be a trifle more difficult than usual to shoot your mark. Pull my pistol and get to work. You don't want to do this? Alright, I'll leave. You don't want to do this? The heck I don't, Tumbleweed says. For Brian. Then he jerks his pistol free. A shot rings out, something smacks you in the shoulder and spoils your aim. Tumbleweed Jack methodically raises a dark maw of his pistol barrel and sights it between your eyes. A flash of brilliant light erupts. The world goes black. And that is that. You had just found your office when Tumbleweed Jack ended all your days. He was more of a threat than I thought. That's not how my story ends. Take me back to the start of that encounter. Okay. I'm curious if Choice of Games was the one set, because I had gone and I looked at their site and stuff like that, and they had this stuff up there, and they required that a game be 50,000 words or more. I'm curious if this particular grouping of games here doesn't require that type of thing, because this is bullshit. Oh, well, let's see. I just died. Legend increased.
Okay, Annie Banani. Let's bring some diapers in there, too.
It was well known that Marshal Spencer Hall never took a bribe despite numerous offers over the years. Indeed, 100 years spent down the line, people in Nevada sometimes say they want to make a Spencer's bargain when integrity is what matters. 1 legend point awarded. As far as it is known, you never applied your fisticuffs against anyone in Lander County. There are no variations to your tale. It is told strong and true. 3 legend points awarded. Your numerous efforts throughout Lander County are well remembered, but only those who lived them. The sons and daughters who follow do not remember much about it all, and so often attribute your deeds to a nameless wanderer instead of Spencer Hall. Play again, play more games like this, share this game with friends, email me when games are available. Where is view form? Store page. I post a review? Do I have to go down or can I post it from the top? Very positive. Interesting. Fuck off. How do I review this? Post review. There we go. Write a review for 10 star. Oh, that's right. I can't. They don't have a autocorrect function. Comma, Alan. What are the names of the publishers for like all the school books? I think it's Houghton Mifflin published a lot of the school books that I read from. I think that's how they spelt Mifflin in the thing. For school books, it's a joke about the fact that school books they read like history lessons because it's a history book. So that's ended up with that being was. My playing of this game in its practically unfinished state ended abruptly when a small encounter killed my character, and the quality of such an obvious attempt to lead me down a path as linear as possible displeased me greatly, and I cannot recommend this game while so many other better games exist. For a more rewarding experience, I would direct people to either Champion of the Gods or Choice of Robots, two of my favorite text-based games. As someone who's played several titles in the Choice of Games series, this one felt overwhelmingly flat. Rather than having a massive enthralling story, this game plays more like a history lesson where the editor for Houghton Mifflin forgot what commas are, and it is incredibly difficult to read fluently. No.
A glove?
Close. Uninstall. Delete.
Ow. Oh boy.
All right. That was Tin Star, everybody.